All right, today we are making a peach coffee cake. And we need a 9-inch springform pan that we've greased, and I take the butter wrapper and use that to grease it. So the one step that we did a little while ago was the peach part of the coffee cake. So 2 peaches, you have them, pit them, and cut them into 1/2-inch wedges, which we have here. You can also use...
That's coffee.
Well, we're gonna make coffee cake. You can also use frozen peaches, but it's peach season right now, so we used fresh peaches. And 2 tablespoons of sugar we put in here.
What you doing?
A 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
What you make?
So you let this sit for about 30 minutes and it's going to give off some peach juice, and we're going to use that later in the recipe. So this is the step we did ahead of time. So we're just macerating these peaches, which means the sugar's taking the water out. Coffee cake has the cake layer, and now it's going to have a peach layer, and then it has that crumbly topping. So the first thing that we're going to make is the crumbly topping. And the crumbly topping is 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup, can you put this in for me? Put a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. It could be light or dark. Need 1/8 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Cinnamon's gonna smell real good. You smell that? Does it smell good?
Yes.
3 tablespoons of butter. But first we're gonna mix that up. I'm gonna give you a little spoon. On this side. Okay, so this is gonna be the crumb topping. And this is really nice because you don't need a mixer for this recipe. The butter is all melted. You want to see what a springform pan is? So a springform pan means the bottom comes out of it. So the cake is really easy to get out of the pan. So the first thing is for the cake batter is 1½ cups of flour. You want to pour that in? 3/4 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And that's all the dry ingredients. Now over here, I'm gonna do the wet ingredients. So the wet ingredients are 4 tablespoons of unsalted melted butter, 2 large eggs, and I already have in here 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. The recipe actually calls for 1½ teaspoons of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, but I'm using all vanilla. And this is gonna make the coffee cake really good. 1/2 cup of sour cream. Sometimes I don't have sour cream in the house, and then I will use Greek yogurt or regular yogurt. I'm going to measure from here. 2 tablespoons of peach juice. So you add the peach preserves to the wet ingredient. There you go. Now ready? I'm going to pour this in and you're going to mix. Okay, we're ready to put this in the pan. Okay, we're going to put the peaches on. You're going to help me.
Peaches on.
Peaches on. All right, now we're gonna put the crumbles on top.
Okay.
Because we're gonna put this in the oven. So then crumble the crumble on top. We're gonna bake this cake for 45 to 15 minutes. We're gonna rotate it halfway through. Then we're gonna let it cool for at least 2 hours. And you wanna make sure that it's golden brown on top and that when you put a toothpick in the center, it comes out clean. There can be a few crumbs attached, but you don't want it to be wet. And then you can run a knife around the outside, and we can eat it.
Bye.
I'm gonna...
Thank you. Get cooking.
The cake is all finished. It took more than the 45 to 50 minutes. I was really looking for the indicators that the crumb was all nice and golden, that I saw the cake part of it getting nice and brown, and it was really just the center that needed a little bit more time when I was doing the toothpick test. So focus not so much on the time, but how everything else looks. I cannot tell you and explain how incredibly amazing this smells. But peaches and nectarines in a cake like this just transform to a completely new level when they are baked. I left the skins on. I love the color of it. I love the flavor, and I cannot wait to eat this cake.